Hello?
Hey, girl.
You guys will not believe this.
No, I don't want to touch on.
I told you guys I fall in love fast.
The look on your face, you're like, ooh.
Very healthy to have female friendships.
And completely
yeah, I do want to get married
ghost
again.
me
And I
on
love
this
that.
effing
So funny
both
that
of us
balance
still
of,
desire
I
to
think
get married.
we're
Or
really
like get rid of
having
toxic
Wasn't
people
ever
in
really in
everything.
pain and part of me.
Welcome back.
It's a three-way call.
With Britt, Val, and Star.
Miss Val, you're on, girl.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Hey.
How we doing?
Doing well. We're doing well.
Very good.
Good. I have a story for you guys today at work. This I don't even know why this didn't come to me earlier, but I don't even know if you remember, Star, but basically, and I don't know if I told you, Britt, but my last job that I worked at, I got fired from. Yeah. Did I ever tell you that, Britt?
Was it because you were dating someone?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm at work today. Okay, so it will be 10, that's even crazy that I'm saying this, but it'll be 10 years next year that I left that job.
Okay.
So I'm working, minding my own business, and I see my manager standing by the front door, and in walks this girl, and I'm looking at her like, this girl looks familiar. And then I'm like, really trying to look at her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, it was the girl that got me fired.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. I literally wanted to shit my pants. And I know that we're hiring, and I'm like, so I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she's trying to get a job here. This cannot fucking happen. This cannot happen. I have to tell them, no, you cannot hire this bitch. Like, I was panicking. And then I was talking, my girlfriends were sitting at the bar, and they were just like, because I told them, I'm like, that's the bitch that got me fired. And they're like, and I'm like losing my mind. So I literally see my manager walk with her like towards the kitchen. So, and I'm behind the bar, and I literally like turn. So I'm not making eye contact with her. They're in the kitchen. I run up to the front door to the door girl, and I go, why is that girl in here? And she was like, I don't know. Bill's just taking her to the kitchen. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, she's not trying to get a job here, right? And she's like, I don't know. He literally just took her into the kitchen. I'm like, okay, what the fuck? So I'm standing there, and then I'm looking around the corner, and I see them walking towards the front door. So I turn and I hide behind the door, right? And then they leave. And so I go back behind the bar, and I'm just like panicking, like my anxiety is just through the roof. And shortly before I saw her, we had our beer rep guy come in. Like, they just come and go, count the beers and then leave. And my manager had came up to me, and he goes, yeah, the beer rep was here. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And he like never tells me that, it doesn't matter. So I'm like, yeah, I know. And he goes, yeah, and there was a girl with him too. And I go, yeah, I know. And he goes, she handed me her business card, and then gives me the business card, and I'm like, okay. And then he goes, yeah, look at it. I'm like, I'm not even looking at it. I'm just holding it. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, feel it. I'm like, yeah, I can feel it. And I give it back to him, and I go, what the fuck? So then he walks away, and I go to the front door to the door girl, and I go, did you just tell him, what I told you? And she was like, no, why? And I told her what just happened. She goes, that's weird. I go, that's really weird. Why is he like shoving her business card in my face? Because all of that stuff, like, he never does. You know what I mean? So it was just that he was doing that, and it was unnecessary. Like, there was no reason for us to even be talking about that. She's like, no, I didn't tell him. I'm like, that is weird. So I go and I didn't care if she would, because I would have told him anyway. So I went in the office and I told him, and I go, yeah, that business card you gave me. I was like, let me just tell you. I was like, that's the girl that got me fired, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what, really? And so I don't think he knew the whole story. So I was telling him the whole story, and he's like, that's crazy. I'm like, yeah,
Wow. So, but she wasn't there to apply. She was just with the beer guy.
was with the beer guy. But
Okay.
what I'm hoping, because she gave him his business card, I'm hoping that like she's not somehow going to be our normal beer guy's boss, or like she's going to take his place or something. That would suck. That would be awful.
Mm,
Um,
how
but she
crazy.
knows, I mean, she probably doesn't think I still work there. That'll be almost 10 years, but she knows or she knew that I did get a job there after
Oh,
I,
really?
yeah. But
Wow.
like I said, it'll be almost 10 years, so I don't know if she'll like even remember, or if she, I
Hmm.
mean, I totally forgot about her, that's for sure. But when I saw, I just could not
Talk
believe
about a blast from the freaking past.
the
That's
worst,
wild.
the worst kind.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. No,
But
thank you.
yeah, but speaking of and real quick, speaking of scandals, are you guys following the whole Taylor Frankie Paul story?
I think I know here. I can't picture the girl, but I recognize the name from the Mormon Wives show,
Yeah, because
right?
you watch Mormon Wives, right?
No,
What?
I don't watch it.
I thought you watched it with us. No?
Hmm.
No.
No,
So we can't even talk. Britt, have you watched the season?
I haven't watched this season, this newest
Okay.
season, because I'm always like late to watch the seasons because they're like a little bit, they're a lot. The seasons are a lot. And with The Bachelorette coming out, I was like thinking about watching that, and I was like, I'm not watching both.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
But now that's not coming out, so
I
Yeah.
did hear it got canceled.
Well, I just started binge watching Mormon Wives yesterday.
the
So
new season.
yeah, so I'm like I think on the sixth episode.
Hmm.
So it's kind of crazy to see because they're all talking about her being the bachelorette. They're like gassing her up, trying to
Mm.
take her on dates, like get her used to, dating multiple people and all these things. But yeah, so on Hulu, I don't know if you guys have seen, but they have, The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise on Hulu. So on The Bachelorette, they came out with an episode and it actually expires today. I wonder if it's still on there. But it's a 20-minute episode of her and like her journey of being the Bachelorette. So I watched that. Yeah, it's like 20 minutes. You'll have to see if it's on there. It's crazy because she goes and she like meets all of the other bachelorettes. She goes to the mansion. They're like also gassing her up. They gave her a sweat set that said bachelorette. They're like, "We're all in a group chat. We're adding you to the group chat. Like we can't wait." This and that. And so it was just crazy to see that. And then all of a sudden, yeah, like you guys said, it not happening.
Well, when my pods were doing the recap, I mean, other than I heard it was kind of like a DV situation because she hit him, but I don't really think they went into like detail of like the situation.
So
But she hit him?
I looked up the video yesterday. Have you guys seen it?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I've seen the video. So a few weeks ago there was another situation. That's not the video. The video is 3 years ago
Hmm.
Oh, that's right.
that happened. Um, and her daughter was there, and her daughter did get hit with
Mm.
The
the
chair.
stool. But
She
a
threw
few
it?
weeks ago, she threw it at Dakota, the baby daddy.
Hmm.
Well, one of her baby daddies,
Yeah.
and it swung around. She threw a few of them, but one of them hit her daughter.
Hmm.
She did get arrested. She stayed in jail for 1 day. She was on probation, I think, for I don't know how many months. Um, and then a few weeks ago, I guess she attacked him again for
Mm.
I
some.
didn't know this. This was literally like a few weeks ago, like in real life.
Yeah, that's what the stories were saying, that it happened again, and that's why. And then 3 days before The Bachelorette was supposed to air or something, supposedly Dakota sold the video to TMZ. That's what they're saying. But Dakota,
Oh.
I think, is saying he didn't do that. He didn't know the video was going to come out or something like that. So it's a little bit like he said, she said, who knows what's going on kind of thing right now. But yeah, that's where the controversy is. But because of that video surfacing, they canceled The Bachelorette.
Hmm.
Mm.
I heard their sponsors were pulling out and yeah.
Yeah, which it's like so crazy because all of those people went on the show. Like they filmed the show. You know what I mean? And so like all these men stopped their lives to come on the show, which I told you guys before I was not excited that she was the Bachelorette. I was
Mm.
Right.
like, there was no, I was like, that's the worst thing I've ever heard. Like, it didn't make sense to me why she would be the Bachelorette. Um, and so all these men, uprooted their lives to come date this woman who is not ready to be dating men.
Especially you, that's why you need to watch this season because it's even crazier how unready she is.
The thing that they're saying is that she literally slept with Dakota the day before she went to
Hmm.
film.
Oof.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm at about a month out and she just slept with Dakota. So I can,
I mean, it's back. That's why I was like, why is she gonna, their back and forth has not stopped since ever, since the very first episode of the show. Like, ever since he came into the show, as far as I know, they've been off and on, and it's a very, very toxic relationship. They are both insanely toxic people. But one thing I'll say is like, I will never condone, domestic violence, especially if your child is there. Like, absolutely not. She needs help. I feel like in some of the seasons we see her growing as a person and she knows that she needs help, but you just look at the environment that she is in. At some point it's no longer like reality TV, and it's like this woman is was raised with this type of behavior. Her mom is disgusting. Her dad is disgusting. Her family is disgusting. They treat her like so bad. I would be traumatized to be raised by that family alone. You know what I mean? And then now, so of course she's going to be in these shitty relationships
Mhm.
because that's all she knows. She only knows that people will treat her like crap because that's what her family does. I
Mhm.
can't handle watching any episodes with her family. Like,
Oh,
they,
then you're not even gonna want to watch this season because it's like even more toxic and crazy than ever.
it's so disgusting to me.
Quick
I
question
could
though.
not ever imagine talking to my daughter like that.
No, definitely not. But quick question. So do you know anything about like the recent domestic violence? Like what happened? Like did she like hit him? Do we?
Supposedly she strangled him
Oh,
or tried to strangle him.
Yeah, that's what it was.
okay.
That's sounding
But
very
there's no
familiar.
footage or anything of that.
No,
Okay,
not that we know of, because we didn't know there was footage of that for 3 years.
that's true. So did Dakota come out and say that?
I think
Or
so.
okay. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah. So I don't know. Um, I think that there's a lot of people like on the internet. Some people be like, if this was a man, they'd be arrested, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, but and she was arrested. Whatever happens after that, tons of men get arrested and then they get released back and then they
Do it
and
again.
do the same shit. So it is the same. She got arrested. The same poor just, it is that way. Just everyone, I think there's more people coming to bat for her because more women coming to bat for her because they see how toxic Dakota is and how reactive she's becoming because of that. There's no excuse either way. They both absolutely need help, but only one of them I think will get it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't believe something like this is actually playing out on television. And there's, I mean, I'm kind of glad it got canceled because there has to be a repercussion for this DV situation. Like,
Mhm.
there is no way that, and we just found out about the video from 3 years ago, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so there's no way that people should be in between that and then the current one, even though it might be a he, she, I guess they have to go through the courts and
Mhm.
all that if it even gets that far. But why should we all of a sudden just be like, okay, now let's watch this gal on TV? Because if it was a
Yeah,
guy, we would all
yeah,
still be like, what is going on? So I'm glad that the situation is unfolding for her because both of them have to change at the end of the day. This is terrible behavior. And it's
yeah.
right here on television for like young kids because these people are in their 20s, right? Or
Yeah,
30s,
Uh,
I'd say like late 20s,
late
mid to
20s.
late 20s, some of them.
Yeah. I mean, this is just, ugh, it's
Yeah, I agree.
it's heartbreaking.
I thought the season was gonna be shit either way. So I'm glad they didn't air it because I was just like, either way, I think it's gonna be trash. Um, but also, I believe Dakota got temporary custody of their son.
Hmm.
So, like, and she has no visitation for now until court.
What about her other kids? Do you know?
As
No.
far as I know, she still has them.
Okay.
So, yeah, because yeah, that part like was already known. So whatever her and the baby daddy of those two kids decided, she obviously had them, I'm pretty sure, over these seasons. We don't ever see them. I don't think that they're allowed to be on the show per the dad, but yeah, I think Dakota took her to court for that. So, or is trying to take her to court for that.
Right.
Hmm. We'll see.
All right. TBD,
Hmm.
guys.
Yeah.
Um, well, tonight, I wanted to talk about a little fun topic. I don't know if it's fun for some people, but Star, did you say that you had one of your girlfriends in your DMs like asking, requesting this topic or
Oh, with the yeah, so one of my clients actually, she was actually just asking me like some of them like to just ask advice because I always say I teach fitness, but they come in for so much more, and I
something?
don't do a great job about sharing that as much on social media anymore about like the mindset and everything else that we're about. But my clients are really loving like the mindset work and how everything we do correlates to other parts of their lives. So they ask me personal things like, okay, I'm dating a guy. She says, I'm dating this guy, but I feel like financially he might not be secure. So she's not sure how to, without flat out asking, like, what's your credit and all these, maybe personal, because they're still, I think, only a couple months in to
Mm,
dating. But
Mhm.
she's like, so what would you think, she's going through? Like, what do you think are red flags for his
Mhm.
finances? And I've been out of the dating game for a long time. So I was like, I mean, other than the obvious, like for me, if he's never offering to pay for dinners or things like that, I know a lot of the kids these days are splitting everything half and half. But he's got to show up for you when you're like, whether it's for not even for gifts, but like for dinner, things like that. I was like, let me ask my girls and see what they might think. Because you guys are the ones kind of sort of not really dating. So
Was she giving you examples like he was doing this or whatever? Like, is that a red flag or no? Did she not give you any examples?
yeah, so one of the things, I think she only gave me a couple, but one of the things were like they went to the mall and he was like, "Oh, okay, I've got a couple things to pick up." And she's like, "Perfect, I'll go with you." So they go to like a Macy's, and I think they both picked out a couple of different things, and at the checkout, he just didn't even grab his, like they said the total and he was just kind of standing there, like not even offering to pay for
The
anything.
total for everything?
Uh-huh. Like they put their stuff together. And so she was like, "Oh, I'll get it." Because she's very much just kind of like mama bear, like, "I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it." And I was like, oof, doesn't even want to pay
no,
for his own shoes or
no,
whatever he got. I was like,
no.
that's a red flag.
That's a hell no.
That's no,
Whoa.
no.
Oh, girl.
You said they only been together a couple months?
Yeah.
Are they like together? Like they're exclusive and stuff?
Official, official.
No, not official. That's why
They're
she's,
not even
No,
in a relationship and she's paying for
and she
whatever
pays
the
for his
hell he's
food a
paying.
lot too. Like
That's
everywhere they,
crazy. Yeah, no ma'am, next.
that's a no.
yeah. So I was like, well, what are some like financial big like no-nos that are just blatantly, or maybe even subtly obvious
First of
for
all, girl, you're doing girlfriend things and you're not even in a relationship. Don't be doing that.
the
That
girlfriend experience? Yes.
You're not doing that.
It's like, oh God.
Oh man.
Too nice. Just
Too nice.
too nice. So I told her I mean, how do you say like, I mean, even talking about like, hey, if we're just casually dating, like, what are your thoughts on budgeting for, trips or savings or stocks and investments, I would just casually bring it up like that. Like, what are your thoughts and where are you at with your investments? I don't know.
What is like finance? Are they like important to her? Like she wants, like, is she somebody that wants to be like to have someone who like pays for everything? Like, is that her
No, no, not necessarily
goal?
because she's very
Or
much she's more of like independent, like I pay my own way, I have my own business. I wanna she's got all these big dreams for her career.
hmm.
Um, and so she just like and she does pretty well. So she doesn't mind paying for most things.
Okay, so she doesn't mind kind of being the breadwinner and
Mm.
paying for majority of the things.
Yeah, but I think where she's getting a little concerned is like, well, do you have like some savings?
Hmm. Or
Right.
like,
Like, how responsible are you with money?
he have a
Yes.
job?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, he works.
Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, I think he just has like a sales job or something.
Okay.
I mean,
That
that's one way to know. Like, what do you do for work is going to
hmm.
be one way to know for sure.
Like, I,
And how proud they are of that work, I think also is a sign of like whether or not they make good money. Why? Because you could be in sales and not make any sales. But if you make sales and you know you're good at making sales, you probably say it very proudly that you're in sales and like what you do in sales and that kind of thing. Like
hmm.
also, I think a lot of people that I've met in sales are red flags. But anyway, I digress. I'm trying to think of like any dating that I've done where I've had to like look for red flags on that with like I feel like most of them just give it away
Because
in my
out of all the
scenarios.
dates that you've like been on, Brit, or I mean, some dates you do, there's no money involved anyways, because you're like going on a hike or whatever. But on the dates that do require money, or have the guys always paid for you, or have you run into any issues where it's like 50-50, or you've had to pick up the bill, or
Um, Almost all of them have always paid. Um, I remember I was seeing this guy like the very first guy I started seeing after my separation, and I already knew he was kind of like I wouldn't say financially unstable. He just didn't make a lot of money. And so we like did split like dinner. I offered because I was like I kind of felt like bad. You know, I was like, this is probably your old page.
oh,
You know? So it's like so I offered, you know what I mean? But like there was just little things where I was like, and it doesn't bother me how much you make. It bothers me if like that's how you're gonna be
hmm.
stay.
Yes.
I don't want to take care of you. I don't like she might want to be the breadwinner and that's great, but I wouldn't want to be the and even if I was, I'd want to know that you still could too.
Hmm.
You know, or like I want you to be loving what you do and I don't think he loved what he was doing. He just had it because he needed a job. You know what I that
Mm.
kind of vibe. So I didn't really love that. And then I'm trying to think if I've been in another scenario since
He
then.
take you
I feel
up
like
on that offer and you ended up paying?
hmm
Okay.
yeah. And there were like a few little things here and there too, where it was like I ended up paying for it. Um,
With him?
because yeah, with that same guy, yeah. Which no, there's no like it was never I never felt like he was trying to like be with me, so I paid for stuff though. You know what I mean? Like that I would have been able to tell like
Of course, yeah.
but yeah, that was I think the only time since then that I've ever had to and I offer even now, like even if I know that they are financially stable, like maybe I'm not offering to pay for the dinner, but I'm taking it to dessert. You know what I mean? Or like I'll slide my card in first, you know, that kind of thing. And usually they never want that to be happening.
Hmm.
But I have had like people like, I thought it was really nice that you tried to because most women would just be like, oh, pay for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And like I
exactly.
never want to be like that.
Hmm.
So, because yes, I want that like dynamic to some degree, but I want to also be contributing
Mm-hmm.
to the relationships in whatever way. So,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think as long as he isn't like a moocher, I think is the right
yeah,
word,
Yeah.
then yeah. So
yeah, and
we'll.
you can always tell like how lazy are they? How
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
motivated are they? I feel like those are like the signs that you should look for. And how just yeah, like and even if they're stingy too.
Yeah.
Because you can have like a man who probably has money, but if they're stingy, they'll still be like, yeah, you pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it has a lot to do with, obviously what the girl's looking for. Like, your friend, for example, if it doesn't bother her to be paying for things, majority of the time, that's going to be obviously different advice that we'd give to someone, like I maybe Britt or I, who would, obviously rather have the guy be able to pay for most of everything.
Hmm.
So my ex-boyfriend that you guys know of, I didn't realize he was financially unstable. I shouldn't say that. I should say financially irresponsible. I didn't know a
Wow.
ton about him for a while, as you know, but um, he made it decent money. He had his own house, he had his own car. Great, responsible adults, as you should be. I learned like towards the end of that relationship that he was $30,000 in credit card debt.
Ooh, yeah, that's a
And like applying constant like and I didn't really like think anything of it before, but he used to make a lot more money
mm.
before. And he got into this habit of spending the money that he had before when he no longer made that money.
Mhm.
And I remember he would just be buying stuff all the time. And he's like, oh, I just apply for this credit card, oh, and this and that. And I'm like, okay, like not thinking anything of it. I'm thinking you're paying your shit off,
Mhm.
you know? And then he's like, I don't answer the door because I don't want to get served with whatever this. I'm like,
Oh, yikes.
Oh.
and then I remember seeing like there was like a bill on the counter, and I was like, oh, okay, so you're not. So you're just you don't pay.
You
You don't
don't
pay.
say that.
Okay, good. Good.
Oh man, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. Yeah,
And I think
huh?
there was a small inkling of it because there were slowly start to be like conversation towards that of like us living together and like how comfortable would I feel paying this amount of money, blah 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 blah. And I'm thinking, can you not afford to pay for your place anymore?
House?
Like,
Yeah,
why are
that you
you
already
asking me that?
have.
Right? I'm like, wait a second.
Because this
No.
is not a roommate situation.
No.
So
I don't know what you're talking about. But
get
yeah.
out of here. Yeah. Yeah, I think those are all really good points because I think when I was single, I was kind of not like I wouldn't pay for his clothes if like everything was first of all, I am a very split gal. I'd be like, you pay for your stuff, I'll pay for my stuff. But I used to date guys that didn't really make that much money, like cooks or DJs,
Mhm.
so I was always willing to at least pay my own way and then like split things and I do like taking care of my partner in that way if I can or surprising them with like
Mhm.
things.
Yeah.
So
But
true. Yeah,
yeah.
any person I've ever dated, except for my ex-husband, everything was always 50-50. I pay for my stuff, they pay for theirs, or like even with my ex-fiance who we were gonna get married, it was just like everything was 50-50. Mostly everything was 50-50. Sometimes like if we went out on like a date or whatever, he would pay for the bill and then have me cover the tip. Which in my mind, I'm
Mm,
like, okay, that's fine, whatever. But looking back on all that and as I've been growing, I don't like that. I don't want to be 50-50 paying for things. I would like him to pay for a majority of things. And
mhm.
then in a ideal world, I still have money coming in from something, and then I'm able to, like, if I want to take us out to dinner once in a blue moon, do that. Or if I want to take us on a vacation, I could do that. But I would like majority him to cover everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard for me to say because I've never like practiced that my entire life. It's always been 50-50. I always pay my own way. And then especially with my ex-husband, who was the first guy that was like, I want to pay for everything for you. I don't want you to work. And of course, to me, that's like music to my ears. But it turned out being not like that at all. Like he did not make enough money to take care of both of us. We went in major debt. I mean, we were living the most like poor life that I've ever lived my whole life.
So it's
I'm
like,
still paying off the debt that we got in.
ugh, why offer if you can't
Yeah,
afford it,
exactly.
dude?
So of course that happened to me, which I know that doesn't happen to everyone, but just saying it can happen, and I put all my trust and then I think that this is the way it's going to be, and then it's not. And so now I would like my partner to be able to pay for things, majority of the things, but I don't think I ever allowed anyone to pay for things. I've always been like, I'll pay my own way, like no matter what, So it's been hard for me to just kind of be able to like sit back and be like, okay, you got this. And then
Yeah.
especially with my trauma from my ex-husband, it's when I finally
Mm.
meet my person and they are paying for things, it's gonna be hard for me to fully trust right out the gate and be like, okay, like I can let you pay for things, but are we gonna suffer? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you don't want me to work, but like are the we gonna be paying the bills on time? You know what I mean? So,
It is interesting how we bring just obviously like into every relationship and friendships included, like those previous experiences into what is current. In the beginning of my marriage, it did bleed into, some of the things that I would like be on Paul's ass about. And he's
mhm,
like, don't be blaming your stuff on me. That's a whole separate situation. I'm like, you're right. I just have to, but it's a work in progress is what I'm trying to say. Cause that I feel you there. Like that distrust is like
mhm,
sometimes it's still there. And I'm like, oh shit, well, this happened to my family and I can't have that.
exactly. So, yeah, that's gonna be a hard thing for me to fully be able to trust.
So as long as
Yeah.
he is transparent, because I know Paul is very open and about like, okay, well, here's where we are with budgeting, here's where we are with saving, here's where blah blah blah, all the
Right.
questions, then it really does help ease that
Yeah.
bridge of trust.
And I'm still not even comfortable enough for like when, I'm obviously not dating anybody, but when I do date someone, I feel like it's still uncomfortable for me to be like, okay, well, this is my expectation. And that, you know what I mean? It's like in the back of my head, I have this like, my ego talking to me or whatever. Like, I don't want to be selfish or I don't want to be, assuming that they're going to pay for everything. I don't want to put all of the financial burden onto one person because I wouldn't want that on me. So it's like all these back and forth thoughts are in the back of my mind. So
Yeah.
it takes work for me to try to shut that up and be like, no, it can be this way and I deserve it to be that way because that's what I
Absolutely. You're going to find your person
want.
who wants to step into that place
Exactly.
of total, as you guys always say, like that masculine,
Yeah.
right?
We want to
And
be soft feminine and not have to worry about that. You got it,
yeah.
Patty? Okay, perfect.
And I think for me, it's almost a little different because I do want that, but what I'm scared of is someone else having the financial control over me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it scares me to think that, like, while I do want that, in my mind, do I want to like never I want to make my own money. I
Mm-hmm.
want to have that because I never want to be stuck in that way. And I also don't want to be thinking that either, that I would be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that part's scary. I think I didn't have that in my marriage, the control part, but and I contributed financially as well. But coming out of that, feeling a little bit helpless because I wasn't there financially in that way was like I don't want to ever have like anyone to be able to have that kind of power in the relationship.
100%.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's scary. Girl, I didn't have any money when I was in my marriage. And then especially leaving, I was only able to leave. I don't even know if Star knows this, but he had told or not totaled, but had wrecked my car for like the second time or whatever. And it was 100% his fault. Somehow they believed him and he blamed it on a car that never existed in the first place because he's the one that hit the car into something, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. So they end up giving him like $10,000, a check for like 10 grand or something like that. And
Whoa.
long story, I won't, get into all the details, but long story short, I ended up taking the $10,000 and left.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
As
I
you
So
should.
I will say, granted, that money, the car is mine. Okay, we were married.
Yeah.
No, I lied. He got a check for 20,000.
Oh,
mm,
Spent
wow.
the 10,000 on something. I don't even remember what it was. And then so I told him I wanted the other 10,000 to pay my debt off. That's what
Uh-huh.
I wanted. And
And
he
then
told me
you,
yes. Yeah. And then I knew this, he told me yes just to shut me up. And then when the date came and I said, okay, we're going to the bank, we're getting the $10,000 out so I could pay off my debt. He was, of course, he's like, no, you're not doing that, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's not your money, this and this and that. And then so I went to the bank, and even though he was the primary holder, I am his wife. And he
hmm
didn't think that I would have a right to that money. So I went straight to the bank. And he told me to, he goes, you don't have a right to that money. I'm the primary account owner. And then in my head, I mean, of course, I'm scared shitless because I'm believing anything he's fucking telling me at this point. And so I'm like, but it's worth a shot, like for me to go. So I remember he was at work. I went to the bank. I said, look, this is my husband's account. I need to pull out 10 grand. Pfft. They let me pull it out, honey. I pocket it and then yeah. And
out,
then
out
I
she
told
went.
him, yeah, I told him that day he came back home and he goes, I noticed there's no money in the bank account. And I was like, yeah, I went to the bank and I pulled it out. And he goes, how the hell did you do that? I said, I don't know. I said, but they let me. They let me, and then he goes, "Well, where is it at?" And I go, "Oh, I already paid it all on all my bills. I already went to all the credit cards and I got
Gone.
it all." And he was like, "You literally did that like within 2 hours?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did. I told you that's what I need it for." Meanwhile,
Gone.
it's in my savings account. And then
Smart.
yeah, 2 days later is when I packed up all my threw all my shit in trash bags and left.
Wow.
I started over.
I would love to know where that man is now with his maybe potential new wife and baby mama.
And maybe, yeah, who knows? Maybe he's had another baby. Who knows? But I feel like two things are have either happened. Either she's left him, okay, or she's stuck with him and is too scared to leave like I was, or is like suffocated to leave. Like I literally had no out except for when that fucking happened. That was a miracle by the grace of God that
Ugh.
happened and I was able to leave. So she's either left or she's stuck and she's miserable. Those are the two options.
Yeah, because there's no way his whole personality would have changed that
Oh, he didn't even,
fast
it was like literally, a quick ass turnaround for him to meet someone and knock her up.
with
So
no therapy.
yeah, no, yeah, no, no,
Mm-mm.
no change there. So
Ay, ay,
crazy.
ay.
yeah, but yeah, like you said, Britt, I don't want anyone to have control over me in that way either.
Yeah,
Scary.
that would be the biggest or the hardest thing for me to do is like be like, yes, I do want this dynamic, but it's going to be very hard for me to let you do that
Hmm.
because of that part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
It's tricky. It
Hmm.
is tricky.
It is.
It is tricky. And I feel like at least for the way Britt and I are, like if I'm going on dates, I expect them to pay. And I feel like if I'm already like paying 50/50 or having to pick up the bill, then uh, on dates and we're not even together, then next for me. And I would never say, I mean, years ago, I would never say that. I would be like, oh, yeah, no, like that wouldn't, make it or break it for me. But now it would. So,
Hmm.
mm,
Yeah, girl. She knows her standards, okay?
that's right. Mm, so,
Heck yeah.
well, I guess
Hmm.
let us know in the comments if you guys agree with us or what your viewpoints are on finances. Are you
What the
50/50?
red flags are.
Yeah, what the red flags are. You want to be the breadwinner? You want daddy to take care of you? Let us know.
Or a happy medium. I feel like I'm a happy
Yes, or a
medium.
happy
I love
medium.
working, having my own, and then hubby can do what he does best.
Exactly. All right, ladies. Well, until next time.
Till next time.
Bye.